What the hell was that, Gray? I hit the wrong song.
I'm pumped. I'm psyched
know if I've
now.
ever even heard that, but as it was playing, I was going to stop it and
it's
do
a new
the regular
version.
one.
I like it.
Yeah, but I figured that was a version that should have been deleted. I think I put that on the scrap heap.
I feel like I'm in the 80s.
Well, with that, I
on.
was going to end up starting over with the actual theme, and I'm like, no, because we're doing things different this week. So that
Let's
is
do it,
actually
Jim.
when you have to take over for Dr. Matt for a week, we play that song. I'm going to have to retitle it.
How dare Dr. Matt have a holiday?
I know, he has a holiday. What's going on? A vacation in our neck of the woods.
Oh, you say vacation, do you?
For the week.
I'll give you a permanent vacation.
Yeah, I wish you would. I mean, right now, fly over from Japan, punch me as hard as you can, like Peter punching Hellgate.
Like Hellgate, yeah.
And knock me out for like 3 days. And then when I get up, I won't feel that bad because I'll blame you. I'll say, well, I would have done some things, but Gray knocked me the hell out. But here we are to talk 2 books. The weird play of this, if Matt was here, me and him probably would have done Spider-Man.
Yes,
and then me and you would have done Moon Knight. That would have probably been it. That we're really struggling again to find a lot of books to review. Marvel has a lot of books. There seems to be things, but again, there might be a point. And I don't know what people would like, because I feel like when we do the ones that we do, we're already getting so angry at them. And we're, the usual suspects. Amazing Spider-Man, you kind of have to review. So we end up doing it. It's not good. There's rumors and talk. I've actually talked to somebody on a bit of the inside that said that indeed the Spider-Man sales are really bad right now. They don't seem to be panicking about it at all. They seem to go with the idea that there's ebbs and flows, and they end up what happens when you end up having problems is when you start to say things like, well, it's still great. It's just the idea that the market's down, or, it's the summer. People aren't doing. Sounds like me and you when we try to justify the YouTubes, right?
It's YouTube in the summer, Jim. Yeah, exactly.
It's like YouTube in the summer, and then in the winter, it's like, well, it's the winter. It's a holiday. And so that's what seems to be going on. At the end, as we often do, I will really yell and scream about Nick Lowe with the comment he has at the end of this issue. But in the meantime,
what a twonk.
It's not great. And then all the other things. Moon Knight, one of the better books.
It is good.
But I feel like that the hype is gone from it. That people seem to be so like they're under a tsunami of manure that they can't get a breath
Japanese.
To say, right? Tsunami. You end up where you have this play of like, yeah, there's a couple good books, but boy, there's so many books that come out each week. And it used to get me excited to see that many books. Now I just look and like, okay, and we get the review copy. So again, that's the opportunity of us to just, review anything. We try to do the number ones, but most of them are number 2s. And so when we end up getting it, it's just, I go through this list of books. I'm just like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Then I look at the reviews. I'm like, no, I really don't get it. Maybe it's just, we're negative or whatnot, but I
get a feeling, Jim,
like
there's a lot of people going to love this issue because it's like Spidey in action. It's his big fight, but you know what I mean? Don't you think so?
Here's the thing, though. This is what I'll say about this issue. And in general, again, I think that what I was getting at is how I feel about Amazing Spider-Man right now. I'm just kind of apathetic to it. And we've talked about this on many different times, is apathy has to be the worst emotion when you're reading something like comics. Yeah, you can get mad at something, but sometimes you get mad because, oh my God, I wanted it to be this, but then eventually, you're like, okay, that was okay. It just wasn't the way I'm going. Whatever.
It's the end, isn't it? It's like, I just don't care.
I'm telling you, at the end of this fight never felt like it had any tension for me, mainly because I don't really get what's at stake. Like there's no tension because there is no tension. It's just Peter, man, I gotta hit this guy. Oh man, it's like hitting a furnace. Man,
Peter
I think I'll hit him.
By Hellgate, isn't it?
Yeah, and then at the end, you don't really get what all this is. At one point, Hellgate said that he needed to come and get Peter. He was talking, as Peter says, like he's in The Hobbit. I mean, there's just so many times that you can have with Joe Kelly, that he's going to reference something, Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, Game of Thrones, like everything ends up with his jokes and the quippy dialogue.
What was it he calls Peter again, or Spider-Man? Is he the Prince of the Silk Steel or something?
Yeah. And
it's
so
quite fancy.
Joe Kelly's dialogue is just really bad. And it's like almost like just generic. At one point, I'm telling you, and this is the worst, I'm not accusing him of this, but the first page, I will read a thing on, and it sounds a lot like AI to me, though I don't think it is. I would never say that to, a professional writer, especially somebody with the pedigree of a Joe Kelly, but it just comes off very odd. But it's Amazing Spider-Man number 8. Remember that number, too, because right before that 8, we had the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. So that's where I get mad at Nick Lowe at the end. But we have written by Joe Kelly, pencils by John Romita Jr. with Todd Nauck, inks by Scott Hanna, Todd Nauck, and colors Marcelo Amenez with Eric Arcianega, letters by VC's Joe Caramagna.
It's a Todd Nauck life.
It is. Yeah, we end up having Paul in this issue. So it's definitely a top-notch life for him.
Jim, isn't he? He's looking a bit sus, but not as sus as Peter.
Yeah, Mary Jane's in it. Black Cat's here at the beginning on the credits page. She ain't in it anywhere.
She's not in the issue.
So you start out, and you end up, here is the dialogue. This is Peter. I was having a pretty good night. No? A great night in an awesome life. This is the bubble that gets me. And then Hellgate drops in with a monologue from The Hobbit and murderous intent. That does not sound natural. You know what I'm saying? The idea, like, just imagine Peter is like, hey, what's going on? I don't know. This Hellgate dropped in with a monologue from The Hobbit and murderous intent. You're like, what? What happened to you? Were you high again?
Who talks like that? Not Peter Parker or Spider-Man, ever.
And he's like, wanting to test my limits. Show me, he said. My pleasure. And then in that, you have almost like a repeated battle of him punch. And all this is him punching.
You put your left hand in.
You do the hokey pokey and then you beat the shit out of Paul. So you end up where he's going to town. He knocks the mask off of Hellgate. But even then, not that impressive.
We get to see his face, Jim, but there's not a lot to see. It's very dark.
No, there's not. If you really want to know what it looks exactly like, it looks a lot like the New 52 Wonder Woman's Ares, I believe. Who it was. Looks exactly like him.
I thought you were going to say something really funny, though. I was laughing. I was pre-laughing then.
I'm too tired. Hokey pokey, I'll go back to that.
It looks like a turd with kintsugi in it.
Where through all of this, you just have Peter like, I got to get him out away from people. And then
he's worried about collateral damage, isn't he? Yeah.
And so everything in it, though, is Peter not trying to figure out what this Hellgate, like in my mind, please, Peter, start to try to put something together here so that we can kind of get on board. But he's saying, it's like hitting a cast iron furnace. Then he says, I remember feeling this feeling before, if I should fight or run. Like nothing really is him trying to figure out the actual situation that is going on now.
That's a weird line as well, Jim, isn't it? The feeling of remembering something I didn't even realize I'd forgotten. I was what?
Yeah. And so you figured that when he's saying that, because he's fighting Hellgate. I thought this was something where, okay, maybe something during the 8 deaths reminds him of this, or maybe something from back in the day, that it's going to be something that will connect Hellgate with something so that we can get on board. Okay, Hellgate might be, Asgardian. Maybe Hellgate is this Roman, whatever. But no, what he's thinking of, because all you seem to have in this is Joe Kelly keeps trying to get these feels by remembering Ben or Aunt May back in the day. That's all he keeps doing. He does it almost every issue. So now it's the idea of fighting. Now, here's the thing. You do a little martial arts over there in Japan, right?
I do. Origami.
If I was you, I'd be pissed off at this scene because Uncle Ben basically says, and it's kind of back in the day, but you end up, Uncle Ben's like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to box. Peter says, yeah, but the guy who fought me and kicked my ass knew the karate. And then Uncle Ben basically says, karate's bullshit.
Was his name Johnny?
Yeah, really. He's sweeping the leg. So in that, though, Uncle Ben says, karate's bullshit. I'm going to teach you real fighting, boxing. And then seems to try to play the game that he's proving that boxing is better than karate because Peter, who doesn't know karate, is fighting him. Peter does not know karate. So he goes, you think karate's great? Come at me, karate boy.
Yeah. Kick me, karate kid.
He doesn't know karate. He's like, yeah. And then Uncle Ben's like, I wish it was like just beating the crap out.
It'd be funny if he knocked his glasses off, Jim.
Breaks his damn glasses. Then Aunt May comes in and goes, what are you doing, Uncle Ben? What are you doing, Ben? And he's like, nothing. He's kicking Peter.
Smacking him on the floor. Yeah.
We go to the next panel. Aunt May's over kicking him right in the gut. Like, man, I wanted to do this for a while. But again, this doesn't prove that karate is not good or martial arts because Peter does not know it. He
doesn't know it, yeah. He's not Keanu Reeves in The Matrix. I know Kung Fu. He's not doing that,
exactly. And it's supposed to be like, again, it's supposed to be a cute little scene. We are in the middle of a fight with a crazy centurion that's a burning furnace we know nothing about, and we get page after page of, hey, come at me, karate boy. So
block,
like in his socks. Exactly. Speaking back in the day, Parappa the Rapper, you sounded like. So you end up where all this is going on. Then we just go back to it. And all this is the idea of, hey, when you have to run, you run. He repeats it a couple times. But if somebody that you love or know or weaker than you is in trouble, you have to keep fighting.
Jim, what I want to know is, did you like the ice cream van with I Scream?
Yeah,
as a title.
Yeah, Ice Cream.
That is quite funny. That really made me laugh. I could be being sarcastic.
I think the guy's sus. I think he might have a top knot. But you end up, it'd be funny if it was. It would be funny if Paul was running the ice cream.
Yeah, that's Paul behind the counter.
You end up where Peter is just now. We're in another set piece. We're in, Columbus Circle in Central Park, it seems, or wherever it would be. And you end up where now he's got to save the ice cream truck, which kind of gets destroyed anyway. But again, all Peter keeps thinking is commuters, early birds. I know that you have to think of the collateral damage, but there's nothing where he's like, okay, this guy attacks this way. All he keeps saying is, I think he still thinks he's a cosplayer gone wrong with murderous intent.
And he's spelling it all out, Jim, isn't he? He's telling us everything that he's doing. It's really weird. It's clunky as heck.
And in that, Joe Kelly should know better than this in my mind. I actually saw, it's a funny thing, just to throw in an old curmudgeon. Not you, Gray, but Alan Moore. I actually saw a video with Alan Moore basically saying, first off, it's funny because he's doing like a series for the BBC. It looks in these videos where he's talking about comic book writing. So first off, every time they go back to him, and there's like a real famous chef. That was a guy who was like Gordon Ramsay's mentor that's on this as well, who's really good. But the idea, they go back to Alan Moore, and it's like Alan Moore on, redundancy. And the first thing he keeps saying is, if you're not going to follow my advice to never write a comic in your life, that's how it always starts. And then it's like, this is how you do it. And he said, one of the basic things that you would think that people would know, but always mess up, is the idea of explaining what is going on the panel. He says, if you're going to say, hey, this guy's going downtown to figure things out, and it's showing him going downtown, it's redundancy, and it's boring, and it's bad. And that's kind of what happens throughout this whole issue. Too much tell.
It's just dull. It's boring.
Now, when we go back to Uncle Ben and Peter, I get the idea that, you're going to play it out. It's almost like a sitcom. It's like Leave It to Beaver. You end up having it in black and white. When Peter then thinks back at it again, and that's that little panel with Uncle Ben grayed out like he's on it, I'm like, oh my God, Tombstone got to him. But
it does look a bit Tombstone-esque.
Yeah, so it just ends up, though, as like, just remember, when you got to run, you got to run. But he doesn't run.
This is the big lesson, Jim. All this time, all these pages and panels are saying, well, you got to know when to fight and when to run. Oh, thanks for that, Joe Kelly. Brilliant.
Thanks, Joe Kelly. And if you're going to do anything, maybe show like Flash, something like that, of how, at points he used to have to. But then show that once he got powers, once he became Spider-Man, when he could beat the shit out of Flash, he didn't. But now it just doesn't work for me. It's just the idea of trying to get heartstrings again, of showing Uncle Ben. But yeah, then that stupid ice cream just gets destroyed. Then the police come, and then they get destroyed. Like, everything is Peter, like, everybody run, please, don't engage. Oh, no, they're done too. And then you just move to the next deal. I like when he ends up getting punched by Hellgate, and it makes it look like the grass in Central Park is more of like a not even a carpet. It looks like a blanket.
Yeah, what do you call that? Is it like the top layer of lawn?
I guess they just laid down the sod and stuff. Ooh. But then Peter's like, thank God.
Sod it.
And even then, he's there and he's getting pushed, but then suddenly he's on his side so he can say, oh, that put my shoulder back in place. Totally professional job. I'm sure there won't be lasting damage. I'm like, what is happening here? You know, what is happening? Nothing. They're just exchanging blows, and he's thinking back, and I didn't mean that sexy. They're exchanging blows and thinking of Uncle Ben. Then they tumble towards a bus. Then they tumble towards people on a sidewalk, and he keeps going. Leave them alone.
Spidey's costume keeps losing its detail as well, Jim. Look at that! Look at that one panel there where they're tumbling past the bus.
There, he looks like an
really
action
weird
figure, right? He looks like a chunky action figure, and then he's like,
he's melted.
Leave them alone, coward. And then he ends up saying, and he says at one point, the only thing I can do is hurt his ego.
Yeah. Struck a nerve there, did I, with the word coward? Oh,
so,
dear.
And he goes,
That's
I
original.
guess, and then he says, struck a nerve? I guess flexing on innocent bystanders is noble where you're from, coward. I want this guy to go, the hell is flexing? Like, if you have somebody who's talking, as you say, straight up out of The Hobbit with murderous intent.
He's not flexing. He's trying to murder these people.
Yeah, he's
what
trying to get you. Like, he's going to be like,
Spidey.
I don't know. So then, here we go. Here is
this is your favorite. Here we go.
Ultimate shit talk I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to use it. It's so great. He says, hey, you've gone silent, Howard the coward. That might
so
be...
bad.
That might be that's an insult to anybody reading this. Like that, and I swear to God, I think that maybe because I kept saying Joe Kelly's humor kept feeling like Deadpool. I think that maybe the editor's like, man, maybe the humor is a little too much like Deadpool. I heard this asshole Jim say it. He might be right for once. And so Joe Kelly goes, okay, I'll dumb it down. I'll make it really lame. Howard the coward.
He follows it up with words are hard sometimes, I know. I think that's Joe Kelly telling us, yeah
words are hard. I love the idea that he thinks that's an insult to this guy. Howard the coward. Now, if it was one of those where I got to find out this guy's name and he's just yelling a name and he's like, my name is Hell. Like,
it turns out Hellgate's first name's Howard. Like, how dare you call me Howard the coward?
Howard the coward. That is, I'm stopping again. I couldn't get there. I'm like, really? So then they bust through a bunch of things. You just get, like you said, some details, some not. It looks like at one point when he says, lightning sears up my leg, broken, blacking out. No. All right. And then says, focus, move inside, trap him. I swear to God in that panel, Frankenstein is running away. It looks like Frankenstein. So then they end up going into this building. Then they fall through down below. It's very hard to keep track of the action at points. And then he says, concrete facial compliments of the house. He laughs at his own joke, which is not a joke.
What's he do? He drops like a huge concrete floor or something on it. How does he do that, Jim?
I don't know.
So crazy.
Concrete facial. I think that's a song on Sus Records. Then says, stay down, please. I have to think. Splint the leg. Breathe. We're alone now. Tight space. No civilians. I can. And then you have this guy show up. That was from issue or two ago that we saw. Captain Kintsugi. Again, too. If I can, am I saying? Did I say Captain Kintsugi? Am I saying it kind of?
You're saying it very nicely, Captain Kintsugi. I was waiting for Captain Invincible, or was it Captain Fantastic?
Why does Peter later go Captain? Well, I can't pronounce that, so we're gonna have to work on it. I'm like, that's kind of racist. But you end up where he says, "I got you." You see this guy straight up, like you know that this guy's a John Romita Jr. guy. The way he is, all blocky. Look at that hair. And he's got a weird headband that looks like it's concrete. But in the meantime, if you don't know, tell them what Kintsugi means.
Okay. Oh my God, I've forgotten now, Jim. I've forgotten. It's here we go. It means golden joinery. It's the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with lacquer mixed with gold.
Some people should have seen that. It's
golden
actually
veins.
The thing that's pretty cool about it is that you just said it. Sometimes it makes it look cooler. Like the pottery in that looks really cool.
The floor makes it beautiful. Oh, you've gone very Japanese there, Jim.
So, yes. Oh, you look. No, I don't want. I better not.
Cancel everybody. Cancel.
You, karate, no work. Me, boxer. You end up, I'll just do my crazy,
Even
lines from Bloodsport.
Daniels.
Exactly. I always go Bloodsport. So you end up where Captain Kintsugi, his look is that he's kind of put back together the way that his armor is. It's using that Kintsugi deal. It's okay. It's okay. It looked really cool.
It's not great art by John Romita Jr., got to say that. Sorry, John.
No, and even at that one point, you have Peter almost like holding the building, and then also then Hellgate doing it. Yeah. And, you could have it look classic from, one of his classic poses, but it does not. But then this Captain Kintsugi, it's weird. He's like, hey, I'm here to help you. No way, kid. Get out of here. Then I'm like, okay, we're going to have an Incredibles deal where this guy's going to get mad and say, you diss me. But I don't know, because then I think he might die in a cave-in. The guy just leaves. I mean, it's almost like he's in a play. He says it's like a 6th grade play.
He swears as well, Jim.
I'm like, Captain Kintsugi, and then leaves.
Can we get the out of here? It's like, look at him, Captain Kintsugi with his naughty, dirty mouth.
He is dirty. Who do you kiss your mother with that mouth, Captain Kintsugi? But we don't know anything about him. So he was there. He kind of disappears. Peter keeps fighting Hellgate for nothing. And then
it goes on forever.
Then we go to the Tadnak art, and I'm like, what the hell happened? Like, I actually see some cool art in here.
Mary Jane's looking a bit hot there.
Yeah, she's there, and she has Lucky Las Vegas. So you end up where she's there. Paul, Mary Jane, and Dylan are hanging in the apartment. I thought she was she might end up in the next issue becoming Venomed up and go, even though this feels like it might not be with Venom. It felt weird, because usually you would see the symbiote because they can't be separated. But you end up where Paul and Dylan are fighting. It's not as fun as the fighting in All New Venom. When you have that, it's really Dylan yelling about the top knot, yelling about how Paul's worthless. That's fun.
Yeah, that's
but
fun.
You're not going to get that here. And I'm telling you, I think that most people, in my mind, just groaned when you saw Paul, thinking, he's just in the All New Venom now, so we don't have to have him here. But now he shows up, just so Mary Jane can say, oh my God, look. Spider-Man's fighting because the Threats and Menaces app has it on there. It's just to get Mary Jane involved, in my mind. But then we go back, and again, at least that was like a change. I'm like, okay, I'll even, read a little Paul here, because then we go back to Spider-Man, and he just keeps repeating himself again and saying, hey, and bad trash talk, and then suddenly you end up where you have somebody talking. Now, I guess Peter hears this. It's like through a comm, because he does them react and say, who was that? Your mommy? I'm like, really? Like, this is what? And through this whole thing, Hellgate was pushing that Peter was this crazy silk nonsense. Then he seemed to think he wasn't. Then he ends up like, oh, perhaps the far sight of Nicodemo is clouded, that you're not the guy. I'm like,
he's supposed to be like teaching him something, isn't he, Jimmy? That's what he's talking about. You were meant to teach me something. What the hell is he going to teach him? Like, his crappy dialogue, his bad humor.
That'd be funny. That's what you get, where after this, Hellgate is the laughing stock of his whole crew, because he keeps calling people poopy pants and Howard the Coward.
He started using the Howard the Coward line. He got beaten up.
Yeah. He just kept getting beat up. That would be the best. He just kept getting beat up. They're like, oh, God. He steps. He's like, why aren't they inviting me to the parties anymore? That's
funnier than this whole issue. That would be awesome.
Now, seriously, because of how you say it, I need him to go off and basically, after he gets done with this, he gets his tracksuit on. He has a bunch of gold chains. He's got some kicks in this freaking Kango hat. And he said, hey, Howard the Coward. They're like, what the hell did you say? They just beat the living crap out of him. Of course, he's hanging out with Liam Gallagher as one of his mates for some reason.
I want to see this
beating
story.
The crap out of me. This guy is the laughing stock of his Hellgate crew. because then somebody comes in and says he is the one foretold, that it isn't a false prophecy. This also, in my mind, looks a bit like a kind of a Japanese look with the big helmet type things.
Samurai helmet style, or even like a Transformers look to it, Jim. It's a bit weird,
it's just very weird. But then when I first saw it, I actually thought it was Captain Kintsugi. I ended up like, oh, but it's not.
It's his older brother, Captain Kintama.
Great. He's like, who's that? Your mommy? Here's what he says. He goes, uh-oh, someone's in trouble with mommy. I want Hell's Gate to go, I got to write this down. I ended up sneezing right there. I want him
these are good lines.
I want him taking notes. He's like, wait a minute, what'd you say there? I got to tell my mates that. He's
like, with mummy.
Hey, Howard the Coward, what? Your mommy called. They beat him up again. Just keep beating the living crap. The next issue, he shows up. He's all bandaged up. He's got broken bones. Because then he ends up where he says, oh, I'm going to get the power. And then he gets a flaming fist, and he fists Peter.
He goes Iron Fist on his ass, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah. Take that. Who's Howard the Coward now?
No.
And he ends up, and then it says,
Mommy.
46 minutes after first contact. That's the best, too. It told us this a couple times of that, and who cares?
In the beginning, it was 33, the magic number, Jim. It was 33 minutes after first contact. Now it's 46.
And is this supposed to be? Are you supposed to sit there and think, oh, man, he took care of him quick? Or was that, I'm like, I don't care.
What's 46 minus 33?
If you ended up finding out, if we found out that Hellgate at one point, somehow it's revealed that he can only stay in the 616 in that dimension for an hour, and he has to, and then you're like, oh God, Peter just has to output nothing.
At least that would be interesting. That'd be something.
Yeah, and it says 46 minutes after first contact, reason unknown, Hellgate defeats Spider-Man. I'm like, what?
With a massive wham. We don't even see it. We just see a big wham.
So he gets hit. You're assuming,
your man, Jim.
You're assuming, You're assuming it's, wham. There it is. It's wake me up before you go. I want to go out away from this stupid thing, Howard the Coward. I was going to make up a saying for Gray, but and that might be hateful. That
might end up where you can use it later.
Yeah, really.
What rhymes with Nick?
And I'll tell you.
Too many.
So afterwards, you turn the page then, which I always do, to see what Nick Lowe, if he's crying this issue, if he's doing. So he goes, what just happened there, webheads? Spidey editor Nick Lowe here, as always. Did Spidey just bite it? Did Hellgate just do what no Spider villain before him has ever done? All right. You're a dick.
Stop the clocks.
This is the thing. He just said that, oh my God, is Spider-Man dead? That's never happened. Oh my God! Spider-Man died 8 issues ago. That was the whole thing of the 8 deaths. He just died months ago.
He sacrificed his life to save somebody.
So he's like, oh my God, did Spider-Man die? As if this is some huge thing that's going to stick. I'm like, get out of here.
It's never happened before, Jim. How many times has he died, reckon, in all these years? I mean,
that's the thing. He died. About 10 issues ago, but they're double.
The same
so
writer,
about 5 months
Joe
ago.
Kelly, killed him. Yeah,
same stupid editor, same stupid writer, same stupid nonsense.
The last few issues have been brutal, Jim. He goes on, but I thought Spidey would still pull through like always. But now, what are we even going to do next issue?
Yeah, what are you going to do? Piss me off. That's what you're going to do. But again,
needs more Paul, says Nick.
Until we kind of got the idea that, Hellgate has a side thing going on with his mates, I was bored out of my gourd. I was Howard the Coward, I guess. But I'm not going to be when I tell my score because this is bullshit.
It's a one long action scene, but it's not even exciting. That's the problem. It's boring, and it's being telegraphed to us by Spider-Man.
And that's the problem. It's telegraphed by Spider-Man. It's lame dialogue that feels like it's just mailed in. And just didn't do anything. You didn't really show us. And when you end up having him punch Spider-Man at the end, you don't know anything about Hellgate. You don't know if this punch is going to send him to another dimension, back to whatever. We don't even really know. He keeps being ambiguous about what he's there for. It seemed like he was there as if Peter was this, Spider-Man's this great hero that I have to learn from, whatever. But then they're just fighting, and it just is nothing. It's nothing. And so what would you give it?
It's to me, it's very, very mid. You know, it didn't really piss me off apart from Joe Kelly's humor, his attempts at humor. But I'm a straight 5. I'm not an FU, just a 5 out of 10.
I'm a 4. I'm a 4 out of 10. It's just not good. And
people will enjoy it though, Jim, because it's like, oh, there's so much action in this, and Spider-Man's quipping quips. It's like, it's not good. It's not good.
That's the same thing they said when we got kind of the same kind of issue when it was Tombstone for 2 issues.
Yeah.
You know, with John Romita Jr. doing the art, that Nick Lowe said, you're not going to be prepared for the most brutal issue ever. Oh my God. And you're like, this is boring as shit.
Not only am I missing Pepe Larraz's art, I'm missing Itsy Bitsy, because at least she was something. You know what I mean? I know, maybe I've got a bit of a thing for her, as you might have talked about, but she was something different a little bit. This is just dull.
Sus Gabe gave it a 6.
Did he?
Then, yeah. And so
that's generous from Sus Gabe.
There's a 9.6 from Comic Book Dispatch. What a bunch of
I'm looking
bullshit.
At League, and it's pretty split. You know how positive that normally is, League of Comic Book Geeks. Yeah, there's a lot of people say this is really good, but there's a lot of 2s or 1s out of 5.
This says Amazing Spider-Man 8 introduces another potential hero and reminds us how George Washington's fledgling army defeated a superior empire.
What
the hell are they talking about? Really? What are you talking about?
Did you write that one, Jim?
I wish I did, because that's actually a better joke than anything Joe Kelly had in the thing. What the hell is he talking about?
Comic Book Dispatch by Dragon Cash.
Oh my
or Cache.
God. What is that? Holy moly. But yeah, this is bullshit. But we'll move on.
This reminds me of when the English army defeated the Zulus, and Michael Caine was in charge.
I thought it was funny because it was dissing your homeland there.
Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness. We'll move on to the next issue. It is Moon Knight, the Fist of Khonshu, number 10, God of Gangsters, written by Jed MacKay, art by Devmala Pramanik, colors by, wasn't there a crazy Monty Python song based on that? Colors by Rachel Rosenberg and letters by VC's Corey Petit. I'm gonna read the intro because again, there's a lot going on with this whole story. That
it's also, Jim, to shout it out, a legacy issue 250 issues of Moon Knight.
Yeah,
cool.
And Asgardian gangster named Achilles Fairchild.
Your
has
favorite
flooded
hero,
the streets
villain.
of New York with a new highly addictive narcotic called glitter. With the glitter-addicted Detective Frazier on his payroll, Fairchild sicked the police on Moon Knight and his allies, and he even killed the House of Shadows, the Senate building where Moon Knight had established his midnight mission.
How dare he?
I think it was too powerful. On the run and desperate to turn the tide, Moon Knight captured Frazier and recruited Fairchild's most trusted Lieutenant Carver, but his biggest coup was developing a compound to neutralize the highly addictive magical elements within glitter. After success, first off, if you're going to get a drug like this, especially now, this isn't, 88. Glitter, I don't know anybody who's going to be like, hey, that sounds cool.
The problem with glitter is it gets you up there.
Right? Yeah.
Stop right
like,
there.
You gotta make it a little more, cool. After successfully testing the treatment on himself, Moon Knight stands poised to take the fight to Fairchild and put the Asgardian down for good. So you end up where I've said all along that Jed MacKay, he makes the worst villains. They're awful. And the idea of an Asgardian drug pusher for glitter, and so going into this issue, you've kind of stopped all that anyway, and it is just a fight, but the fight's better than what we just got in Spider-Man.
It's so much better, Jim.
You end up caring about the characters, and the dialogue's pretty cool, and we get some cool moments where they ball
awesome. I know I do go on about a lot, but Dev Pramanik, I'm a big fan now.
And the art does end up elevating it. So
helped by the colours as well. You shouted out, it's Rachel Rosenberg. Her colouring is really, really good.
Yeah. So you end up where they're going into the compound with Achilles Fairchild. In the meantime, Achilles Fairchild's just going to run. He's going to run away.
He is. He's out of there.
Yeah. So the fights are just these individual guys that Achilles has.
I love seeing this weird gang of rogues. How cool are they, Jim?
And Jed MacKay plays the idea of some of these guys are just in it to slice and dice. You got a couple creeps. You got a couple things. Some don't even want to do anything.
Yeah, one guy just wants to watch TV. He's watching Magnum PI.
Magnum PI.
Made me laugh.
Once. Yeah. So you end up where all that going on, Fairchild says, hey, go get them, boys. They're coming in. We're going to win this. And then he skedaddles. But you end up having a cool play with 8-Ball, and then you even have Soldier who laughs at him because he does end up where the elevator opens, very almost like Hit Girl-esque, like, from Kick-Ass, where the elevator opens and they're waiting. 8-Ball throws a bunch of 8-Ball bombs and yells, 8-Ball corner pocket, which, okay, it's better than Howard the Coward. And then everything blows up and they throw these, rubber pellet bullet type balls at. That's the big play. It's non-lethal, so it takes them down. But while the things are on the ground, you end up where it's Soldiers like, if I fall on any of these rubber pellets, I'm going to kick your ass. And then they go and Tiger.
That is funny. That's a funny line. Unlike the whole of Amazing Spider-Man, that last issue we talked about.
These are people who may talk like they're in The Hobbit with murderous intent. So you end up where Tigra ends up fighting, Dead Zone, and I guess
she's
Dead
looking
Zone's
good,
there.
Tigra.
She's actually fighting.
I'm getting a bit of an Itsy Bitsy vibe from her.
Killer Shrike.
Get into her.
I'm telling you, these villains are all like D-list deal, but it's fun. And she ends up like, man, anybody with a top knot nowadays. I don't consider that a top knot. How they have it almost looks like a knight's helmet, but it is kind of more than a top knot. It's more of like a ponytail type thing in my mind, but she gets the joke. These guys are creep.
I'm not fighting him. He's a creep. A creep? Yeah, a real deal pervo.
And then the other guy shows up and he's got one too. She's like, what's with you guys? Now, he definitely looks sus. He's got S&M gear and that. I'm like, he looks like he's a creep. But they're going to fight. She's going to have fun.
He looks like a classic 1970s Master of Kung Fu villain, Jim, to me, doesn't he? Straight out of that. Brilliant.
Yeah, so with all these things, you do have an opportunity because the book at points does end up being very talky. There's a lot of times in this book where, remember, at one point it was just like therapy sessions each issue with the deal. So it's fun and cool to see them be able to let loose.
He never gets bogged down, though, by the narrative, I don't think. I know what you mean. You do get the characters talking, but it's not like, Jesus, what are you talking about this week? Iron Man with the endless dialogue boxes. That looked insane.
How crazy was it? Also, another thing that I saw with the same series of Alan Moore deal, I believe it was that, in a panel, in something, you shouldn't have more than, or even a page like 36 words in the narration or something like that.
You got to limit it. That's the challenge, to write it well with that limit.
You can tell some people when they're not really used to writing. Now, Jed MacKay doesn't have that problem as much.
No.
And they're just talking
You don't want to be covering up this art either, with like reams and reams of word bubbles.
That's the worst. That Iron Man this week, holy crap, you don't even know there's art at points. They're getting crushed by it. You didn't realize that the idea of the biggest villain in that book is the weight of the narration and word bubbles killing everybody. But yeah, see, you keep going and 8-Ball's going around, and you end up with, again, these villains, there's Cubist, you have some things that aren't really fully spelled out. I wish they would have said the names a little bit. Cubist is pretty cool.
He's got a weird design. Looks a bit like he's got a gas mask on, like a chem suit, and he's just sat down watching Magnum PI say, get out of the way of the TV. I'm not fighting.
And I like that Jed MacKay kind of reveals the power set. He says, if I take off this mask, everybody goes nuts. Now, again, it's almost like a GIMP mask, like a GIMP slash like a gas mask, but it looks a little sus.
You want to get nuts?
Jester goes and he's like, I got to do something. I like Jester in this because he's there and he's like, I got to pretend I'm doing something. Like, I don't want to do anything. I'm going to get killed. So I just wanted to hang low, but I can't just hide. I have to make myself be seen. I need some jerk. And that's when 8-Ball shows up.
8-Ball walks past, he goes after him.
I like 8-Ball. He's there, and you see that he has a pull stick, and he's like almost queuing it up as he's walking down.
That made me laugh.
What a ridiculous guy.
I really enjoy this issue, Jim. I know I'm maybe more than you, but
I didn't love it, but I do like. I like the part though. I like that Jester ends up knowing 8-Ball and says, "8-Ball, what are you doing? Like, you're a bad guy." Yeah. Why aren't you here? And
how dare you switch to the good team?
Exactly. But that's where you get, that's why I like characters like this. And I'll even go with like anti-heroes or characters that people say are jerks, like a Guy Gardner, per se. The idea when they do end up doing something really heroic, it ends up like, okay, they are heroes. Because when you end up where 8-Ball genuinely, for the setup, that it's the best character in this book. I think that Jed MacKay is writing 8-Ball incredibly, because when 8-Ball then goes, he's not saying it with, Mark there or Reese so that they can hear. He says to Jester, I like saving people. It's a lot better. Like I'm not like, you could have played this where 8-Ball's like, listen, dude, don't ruin my cover. I'm still bad, whatever. But no, he says straight up, I like being a hero. I help people now. I'm part of the toughest crew in town. Midnight Mission
for life, Jim. I'm in with him. I want to join 8-Ball's team.
That's what I was like, yeah, that's awesome. And then he's like, you look like he's looking like he's flashing gang signs. And then you have gestures like, why are you flashing? He's like, no, I haven't had a lot of potassium. My hands are cramping up. That happened to me the other day. I'm like, I look like I'm flashing gang signs. That'd be crazy.
Serious?
Yeah, I have some problems. I am a wreck. But yeah, so you end up with Magnum PI watching Cubis is like, I just don't want to fight. Again, it's kind of funny, but also plays the idea you hire a bunch of schmucks like this. They're not dead. Why does he care? Why would Cubis care? He's already got paid. He said, he's so desperate to pay this before. I'm just hanging out watching TV. Get out of my way. I like that they're standing in his way. And then you look and then Fairchild's just like strutting down the street. Why doesn't he get in a car or something? He's just strutting down. I guess it is tough in New York City, but you end up where Mark's going to go and find him. He's like, I'm going to go get him. I'm going to take him down. But when you do get to the point, this is what I always don't like about Jed MacKay's stories. For the most point, I usually bring up the idea that at one point he was fighting a vampire Ponzi scheme. He ended up waiting until they had a big conference and he blessed the water in the sprinklers and killed them all with a sprinkler system. And you're like, okay, they weren't that much of a threat. I mean, the idea of getting distressed, it seems smart on paper, but doesn't come out as like really kick-ass cool. In this, you have Moon Knight like track him down. I'm going to get you. And then he runs into this room and disappears. That's it. You have Mark saying, I got this drug down. He's like, well, I guess it's time for me to go. And even then he has Gunnar, the soul thief, Dragon Blade, which is the thing that could kill an Asgardian. So you end up like, okay, this is badass. And you basically just have whoop, 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 feet don't fail me now, and he runs away. And he's like, no, yes. And then he chases him, gets to this deal, and you have where, you do have Fairchild say, I need to get away. It can't end like this. And then he disappears. I'm like,
he blinks out, disappears.
Is this something
Moon
that
Knight
sent
walks
him
in with
back
his sword
to Asgard?
drawn,
Yeah.
but it's an empty room. Do you mean just like smoke in the room? That's it. Where did he go? I was looking forward to a big takedown by Moon Knight with you. I thought he was going to get him.
But the best is like, what would you do with Achilles Fairchild? Like he's just like an Asgardian bro who ended up making this drug. Like, that's done. They already got the antidote. It's already done. So what do you do with this guy? He just disappears. And then where I had talked to some people, you did have somebody on the phone. You had Achilles Fairchild call somebody up. Hey, I need help. Moon Knight's on his way. Well, you didn't want my help before, jerk. So you're not getting it now. Have fun with your Moon Knight. And he hung up while we see that it was Zodiac. And you end up where we go back to the earlier deal where he's like, enjoy Moon Knight, Fairchild, because he's going to enjoy you. God, we are so back. And there's Zodiac. And I love the play. It is kind of his deal, but I love that you have to have that Zodiac chain.
It's awesome. I want one.
So that people know that it's Zodiac. Now, in the meantime, I did have arguments before with people and villains in this Moon Knight run. And they end up saying, oh my God, but you said Jed MacKay can't create good villains, but Zodiac's awesome. That's not his. That's an older villain. It's a legacy character. So that's why he's probably a little bit cooler, because Jed MacKay did not create him. Now he's written him okay. So you have that. But again, we're back to say, I think that it's one of those where he's like, well, these stupid villains. These villains just never hit with me like an Achilles Fairchild or Ponzi scheme vampires, like all these. And then at the end, when you're done, you just realize, like, okay, it is. I mean, I'll joke, but it's more the journey than the destination with this book. It's more of the team than anything going on, which is fine. But there's never really, in my mind, a really big threat that you end up taking seriously. And this whole thing with Achilles Fairchild was a joke the minute that he showed up, and then he's just taken down. So with that, Zodiac will probably pick things up. I still like the art. I still like it enough. I like the individual things with the characters and how they interact. 8-Ball Tigra, like, is kicking ass throughout the whole issue.
There's one panel with her. She
it.
looks incredible. She's got shurikens like sticking out of her, throwing knives, and she's coming through like a hole in this wall.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at it now. And she says she's, Tiger's having a ball.
She's having a great time, Jim. She's enjoying it.
Hunter's Moon gets to let loose as well and, has some fun there. So with all of that, though, by the end, what it doesn't actually, Reese and Soldier have nothing to do. They're there with Cubis standing in front of a television, but you have a big team. So with that, it's okay. I like it still. It's probably one of the books that I do enjoy the most at Marvel. It's not my favorite book of all comics, but I still like it. But what would you give it?
It's one of my favorite current Marvel books. It really is. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, maybe a lot of that is down to the art by Dev Pramanik. It's just fantastic.
It's still
Looks
good.
gorgeous.
We like 8-Ball a lot. And Tiger I really like as well.
We had fun reading it. I had fun talking about it with you now. The lines, the character voices are well done. Like you say, the only negative is the villains, really. It's not that exciting. These classic old characters are more exciting than Fairchild, aren't they? They're a lot more fun than he is. So for a score, I'm still going high. It's one of my books of the week, so it's 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go 7. I'm 7. I do like where Hunter's Moon throws Killer Strike out.
That's cool. That's a cool scene.
And then he comes back and he's like, "Nobody told me you could fly." That was pretty good. And that's not like humor in the way of, "Hey there, how the character." Like, it's funny because of the situation. It's funny because it's like a murderous guy.
Oh, did you get a concrete facelift?
Hey there. I'm trying to. What did he say right after that deal with Howard? That hey, you think of flexing this and get out of town. It was so bad. But obviously, we at least like this. You liked it a little more than me. But before we go, because that is it. Before we go, let everybody know where they can find you.
You can find me somewhere.
On the beach, drunk.
Yeah, I'll be down the beach having a swim because I tell you, YouTube, I'm taking a break at the moment. I'm on my holidays, Jim. I'm on my summer vacation, as you say in America.
All the vacations, yeah.
So
it must be nice to just, pedal down to the beach and go into the ocean.
It's quite a ride, though. It's like, 30 minutes one way there, but I love it. Good. It's worth it. It's worth it.
That's pretty good.
If you're looking for a positive take on comics, usually from me, do check out Wakizashi's Tea House if you fancy it. That's all. That's all I've got to say. I'm going to try and get a written review done, Jim, but I'm behind on everything.
How dare you?
How dare
you?
Suscabe is back, so that's the most important thing.
Yeah, Suscabe is back. Speaking of Dr. Matt on vacation, him and Gabe are going through quite the feud in the Get Fresh crew. There's crazy accusations flying. Oh my goodness gracious! But yeah, go to Wakizashi's Tea House Gray's YouTube channel. It's really, really good, and he has live streams. Sometimes I'm even on them. I'll pop in to cause trouble. Usually, when I show up, I end up commandeering things as I do, and then I see your smirk. I love at the end when you're like, "Okay, we got to get going." I'll just keep going. But
Jim's never going to shut up. We got to start this stream.
That's why I have live streams with Sus Records that went like 3 hours. And I'm like, what is going on?
But a lot of that's music, isn't it? Or is it just you play one song and the rest of it's you talking?
Some of it is me bitching and moaning, but it's also me falling asleep as we go because it gets real late. Like, I think the one point it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like swaying to the beat and almost fell out of my chair. But
Jim, by the way, just before we finish, to shout out, speaking of the Get Fresh crew, Ruben was on the live stream last weekend. Yeah, it was fun. We talked about how he got into X-Men, and he also, gave some of his current comic book recommendations. So
he talked about that power fantasy. Did you give him crap for not reading the Dark Phoenix song?
No, I didn't. I'm too nice for that. Come on.
I fell asleep. I was going to watch. I fell asleep. I would have given him some crap. He's a good choice for you to do it, too, because he's West Coast. He's in Seattle. So the timing's a little better.
My time pretty
well. Pretty good there. Yeah, it does.
So. Not too late for him, is it?
Not me and you.
No.
Getting late for you, and it's early for me, but I didn't sleep last night, so I was going to take like an hour nap, but I'm starting to think that might be a bad idea. So I'm going to go and read some more comics, maybe make some dirty songs. Get a chuckle about the idea of Hellgate hanging with his mates. I just love the way when you said his mates. I just imagine that he's in some freaking.
You can see it.
He's in some pub and he walks in like, oh, here comes that asshole, and then they just start beating the crap out of them. It'd be great. But thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks, Gray, for filling in for Dr. Matt for the full deal. Yeah, and if you could, I never really say this because I'm really bad at self-promotion or promotion in general, but if you could give us a review on YouTube, even if it's bad, I don't care. But if it's bad and you're still listening, there's something to it. But hey, just do that and maybe go on and give Niccolo some crap because this stuff with Spider-Man has to end. It really has to change it up a bit. And it's not just the writer. People told me I was naive thinking a change in writer would change anything. It's Niccolo. He's the problem. He needs to go. And from what I heard with the sales, maybe that'll happen because the sales are not good. But again, they don't ever reveal numbers or whatever. So who knows if that's true, but that's what I hear. So with all that, thanks, Gray. We're going to go out with your song, of course. So everybody have a good week and we'll be back to talk to you later.
Watching each other